Hey everybody, me and Lou we're gonna head over to Lester's this afternoon. Evidently, I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I guess he's got a culvert that washed out and he's building a cattle guard. And I've kind of heard through the grapevine that a lot of people have been, well, a couple of people have messaged me and said, hey, maybe you want to help your brother, but the thing is I can't just show up and say, hey, what are you doing here? Let me help you. So, I kind of knew he had this project going on, but I just kind of been waiting on him. If he needed help, I knew he'd call. Well, sure enough, he called yesterday and said, hey, if you get some time, can you run over and look at this? I think he's got some concrete coming or something. He just wants to make sure that everything's going right before he gets going. And since old Dan here's a highway and bridge builder by trade, I don't actually build them anymore, or I've never really actually built them. But anyway, that's what I do for a living. I'm gonna go over and take a look and make sure he's just kind of on the right course and see if there's anything he may need to do to kind of improve it where the water's coming through. So anyway, if y'all want to, go with us, and we'll go over to Longhorn Lester's and go visit with him and Jamie for a while and see what they got going on and see if we can't put our 2 cents worth in. Anyway, come along. Well, looks like they're doing some road work. I didn't realize I was going to get my truck all dirty. This is a gravel road. I don't think it rained over here. It's a little dusty. That's all right. What I really don't know is when we turn up his driveway, how far can we go before we're going to... How's he getting up to his house? Is he having to walk? Lou?
I don't know.
Maybe a little interesting. Maybe that's why he said he'd walk down and open the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he can't get to his house. Well, let's see what he's got here. They made it down to the gate because the gate's open.
Keep left.
Got a really pretty driveway.
Oh, there he is.
Whoa. It's like, yeah, it's out. Oh my goodness gracious alive. You guys probably all know what this looks like. It's my first time to see it. Oh, wow. All right, let's get out and check this out.
Sort of the dynamic of what happens here during a heavy rain. First of all, that right there should not have happened. That's on the pond guys, and they're going to fix that. They've already bought the materials. They're waiting on a tractor.
So it broke the dam.
It's a spillway.
Oh, okay, it's a spill. So it comes over the top.
It comes over the top, and so you can kind of see how it comes just down. That's where the water should come over. But it came over with such force that it washed all that rock and dirt off.
Honestly, he probably should have some bigger rock in there than that, because that rock in a heavy rain will wash, and that's what happened.
It did wash.
The bigger rock wouldn't wash.
Stay there, buddy.
Anyway, that's fine. Okay.
So they're going to address that. Now, Dan, maybe possibly long term, if that doesn't hold, if it ends up breaking again and again and keep doing the same thing, then we may have to end up doing some kind of a concrete.
So you have to do some concrete. Just build a concrete spillway part that comes over, so it won't
or
wash anything
maybe
out.
even a culvert. But let's not focus on that right now. Just so you know, water comes from two directions during a heavy rain. This is a natural creek over here.
Yeah.
That's a natural creek. There's a low bridge that the former owner built when he used to use that as his driveway.
Yeah.
So water comes from two ways. Always from here. Seldom, only once they come over the top over here.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, it was so heavy in this last rain. Watch your steps drop off. That it washed the whole culvert washed out to about this far back.
Okay.
It was a long culvert. It extended all the way from where the bulkhead is there all the way across to where the other side is at over here now, and it just bent it and pushed it all out of the way. It was nasty.
Yeah.
So the fella come and dug all the old culvert out for me, and he went in and excavated this whole area out for the most part. So then what I did was come by and put the post in the ground and put the wall up, cut out the bulkhead for now, the best that I could. I can cut more now, but it was water up to there. Dan, you gonna go across there?
Yeah.
I use this 4x6 over here, Dan.
Okay, so who built the head wall?
The bulkhead was built by the pond guys who come and did all that over there.
Okay, well, that's perfect. That's going to keep your driveway from washing. That's going to force the water there, but I think that opening may be too small.
So the opening is still too small. So there's a center.
Well, if you get a bunch of water, that opening could be too small.
So they have it braced off, and so I didn't want to remove that middle post because that's in the ground. I don't know how deep that's in the ground. I don't know why they used a 4x4 instead of a 6x6, whatever. But
How big was the culvert you had in here?
24 inches.
Okay, well, you're going to get at least probably, you got like a double 24 now if you're
At
just looking
least.
yeah, so you're going to carry twice the amount of water that you have.
And I will say one last thing: the culvert was bent in the middle. It had caved in a little bit, which can make the flow even more.
Yeah.
So I think this will move the water. That right there has to be cut out of there. I don't have a torch or a way to cut it, but there's a guy that's helped me before, has a grinder, but when he brought his grinder over, he needed electricity. And he couldn't.
Yeah, that's got to be cut. Okay.
So I got to find a way to get that cut out of there at some point with a cutting torch or something.
Yeah.
But that will be gone eventually, so that should all just push water all the way through down to the river. Down all that rock that I've lost.
Yeah, I see that.
That's a lot of rock. All right, so this is 12 foot from where I've dug there to where I've dug here. These 8x8s are going to sit across here.
What are they going to sit on?
Well, so obviously there'll be one that'll sit across here, one there, and one there. But because I do this with my tire tracks over here, I'm going to go ahead and put 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for sure. I got 12 just in case. I would rather it be too much than not enough.
Okay.
Once I set those, then I was going to
But
cut.
you're going to pour concrete here first,
No, I was going to put the post down first,
and then pour the concrete all around them.
and then tie the post into where I can tie them into. Use the 4x6s to come in and tie in behind them to tie all my posts down on both sides, and then fill everything in with concrete on where you're standing, where I'm standing. Hopefully, I can get enough of a slope to where it kind of comes down to where water that still comes down the driveway on each side will still come all the way and push off into here.
Yeah.
And then do the same thing over on this side over here. Fill the concrete over there as well. And whatever concrete I have left over, just pour the heck out of it on that other side of the spillway right there. The bulkhead.
Well, Les, I think it's all perfect. I mean, I don't know who designed this for you, but I think this is good. Once you concrete everything in, it's not going to go anywhere. Those posts are, whew, you can drive an 18-wheeler across those posts. They're not going to go anywhere for sure. What about steel in your concrete?
I wasn't going to use any rebar, but if I need to use, I have paneling, just throw panels down. But why do you think we need to use that? And then secondly, one more thing I wanted to ask you: when I start coming across with my 2x12s, even though I have a place to put the post here will come all the way to where I'm at and to where you're at, right? But should I go ahead and start putting them here, just for the aesthetic look of it? Because there's going to be there's concrete right underneath them. You see what I'm saying? Or should I just wait and start putting them here wherever the actual void starts?
Hold on. Say that again.
Okay, so just picture first, the post will be all the way across.
Yeah.
First, tell me this real fast. How many posts would you use, these posts behind me here?
You're going to butt them up, or you're going to put some space in between them?
So I was going to for sure set 1, 2, and 3 on top of the post I already have.
Okay.
But because I think that my tires on most vehicles, my trailer, the dually, everything else is going to be heavier, I would think, than the center. I was going to go ahead and double or triple over here on each side.
These posts here are just for your thing?
Just to come across.
Okay, but if you laid those posts all out side by side, they're going to go a pretty good ways. I mean, you could put some space in between them. It's not going to hurt. They're going to shrink up a little bit, I would think, over time.
They're running this way, though.
Yeah, they're running this way.
So, okay. So I was going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay.
I'm not going to go on past the fence on either side.
Okay.
So you think 11 is too many? Is that going to look stupid? Is that
No, I mean, I would put them in here. Wherever the center of my driveway is, I'd start, and I would just start building them out, however far.
So don't focus so much on where my tires go across necessarily.
No.
Okay. And then fine. So we get those posts in. We get those posts all bolted in.
And how are you going to bolt them in? That's my question. How are you going to bolt them in?
Big bolts. Big bolts.
Big bolts into what?
Well, into here. And then, like I said, this over here, I'll take one on this side, it'll come behind it, it'll lay down this way over here
Okay, and you'll go through the ends of them?
to the ends of them.
Okay.
Okay, then we'll get the concrete poured. So literally,
Right, but that's the thing. How much concrete now is going to fill in? Because you're going to have, I mean, you're going to take up all your space with wood. So whatever
But-
concrete you put in there, okay, and then picture this. With no rebar, the bouncing of your car coming across, whatever, that concrete's all going to start chipping and breaking out over time with there's going to be nothing to hold it together.
so
Now, what you can do is talk to the concrete company and ask them if they got fiber mesh to put in the concrete.
fiber mesh.
Yes, fiber. It's some bags of fiber, and they throw it in the concrete, and it'll help it all stick together.
So fiber mesh.
Yeah, I don't know what it would cost extra, but most places have it.
Okay. So now, when you say bouncy, 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 why would you have a bouncy, bouncy? Because if I have solid concrete here,
Those posts are you're still gonna get some bounce over time. You're still gonna get some bounce. Coming across this driveway, you're coming off of dirt onto concrete and wood. You're gonna get a little bump on it.
okay.
You're gonna get some vibration.
So
out
your
of it.
concern number one would be that there needs to be some kind of metal that we use, either rebar.
I think the mesh would probably be fine, but yeah, what you don't want to happen, because if you've only got concrete between posts or whatever, and there's no mesh in it or no rebar,
and it chips out,
it's
then
gonna-
water will start getting in and that's going to eat it out.
yeah, or it'll start coming out. It's going to leave voids exposed for sure.
Okay.
What I would suggest is whatever you have underneath your post, I would put a cow panel down in there.
I got cattle panels.
Cut them to the size. Put a little brick or something underneath them so they're up off the ground at least an inch or so.
So the concrete can go underneath them.
Yeah, and then fill them up at least have that underneath your boards.
Okay, that's easy. That's an easy fix.
Yeah, and I think after you do that, because your boards are going to be together, so even if they shrink up, you get a little gap in them, no big deal.
All right, so this might be a dumb question. I've already done all this work. This might be real dumb. But should I have not have come out so far? Should I have only started my post just over the void only, from post to post, or from the wall, and not had to deal with all my concrete over to here? Because the reason I wanted to have concrete was that we wouldn't have water. Because the driveway behind me and behind you, it becomes a river. It becomes a channel.
You're not going to put concrete on top of your post.
Huh?
You're not going to put concrete on top of your post.
No.
Yeah, so the concrete's just going to fill up underneath the post.
Yeah, all around it.
Up to their level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was saying to avoid the bounce, if you didn't have post out through here, you wouldn't never have to deal with the bounce.
You won't get much bounce if you've got a good foundation. You won't get
Okay.
much. Not enough to. I mean, if you got concrete that deep, it's not going to go anywhere with some steel in it. Without steel, yeah, it's going to eventually crack apart and come apart.
Okay, so you think steel's that important?
Yeah, very important.
Okay. Okay, what else?
I don't know. I think you've done a great job. Actually, I think you've done a really good job.
Well,
I think
that's
this is
it.
plenty. These boards will be here forever. And with those head walls there, you're never going to wash this out. Never wash out. The only thing that could happen if you got super amount of rain, the water hits the head wall and builds up till it can't feel it, and then it just comes over the top of it. But I don't know how much rain it would take to do that.
So when you said I should move out another board, another 2x12 then? Higher?
Maybe less. I don't know. Maybe you don't have to.
Just watch it and see?
Watch it. If it ever starts coming up to where it's getting past that board, starting to back up, then the next time the water goes down, come here and cut that board out.
Yeah,
Big
that's
deal.
all I did this last time. I just cut it.
Yeah, you got to get that thing cut out for sure.
Yeah, that has to come out. I don't know how to get out of it. I couldn't get my tractor around to it to pull.
No, I think you're right. I think a cutting torch or some saw.
You can see that whoever put it there cut with a cutting torch around the culvert.
All right, guys. So I've looked at this, and I'll tell you, I don't understand what all the panic's about, because honestly, I think it's a great design. And for all you guys that are panicking about wood, go to the lake, go to the beach. Look what everything's built on: wood piling, bulkheads all over for years, been built out of the same exact material. And I'm sorry, my brother's not that old, but he'll outlive. I mean, this thing will outlive him for sure. And the way he's going to build it is nothing wrong with it. Perfect. He's got it all figured out. So I don't know how he got it all figured out, but he got it all figured out. He didn't need my help at all. But, and whoever did that bulkhead did a really good job. The only thing I would suggest, make a little bit bigger hole in that bulkhead for the big, massive rains. But besides that, I think it's all good. So I want to congratulate them. All right, guys, catch y'all later.